All right, here we go. It is February 13th and almost Valentine's Day. And by the way, the Valentine's Day is actually Connie's birthday. We did the early song for her last week, and she got to hear that. And then unfortunately, she passed away Friday.
Oh,
Oh
So
my gosh, I'm so glad we did that. Thank you.
that's why I did that. I didn't say anything, but I knew that was coming. I didn't think she was going to make it to her birthday. So, anyway, that's some pretty sad news. So, but anyway, thank you guys all for doing that. That did mean a lot. So, all right.
That's leaving a big hole.
Yes, yes. Absolutely. So anyway, so I have to invite everyone onto the thing now. So I may be a little distracted, a little sidetracked, so cut me a little bit of slack here. Uh, all right. Well, back to back to our normal program here with that cloud hanging above our head. Anybody got anything you want to start off with or nothing? Nobody's got anything to start with.
hey
Okay.
John, what about that internal linker? I must have missed the class if you did something. I didn't see anything.
Okay, yeah, internal linker. That was Chris Cantel. I don't know.
Yep, yep,
You probably remember him. You go back in the old school SEO.
yep, I remembered him.
So I had reached out to him to see if he wanted to promote Optimancer because he had promoted Site Pop and all of our other stuff in the past. And as I was talking to him, he says, "Yeah," he goes, "I got something ready for you to promote too." And I'm like, "Well, I don't promote stuff unless it's really good." And knowing him, I was interested. I said, "Well, what do you got? Let's see." And he showed it to me, and it dovetails so perfectly into Optimancer. I'm like, "Yeah, I would absolutely promote that for you." And what it does, it's a WordPress plugin. Unfortunately, it doesn't work with anything but WordPress. So if you don't have WordPress, it's not for you. But the concept is, and the concept of it is you plug in the WordPress plugin and it uses AI to analyze all of your pages and all of your content. And then what it does is it identifies the interlinking opportunities. And what I mean by interlinking, if you guys are familiar with Wikipedia, Wikipedia has always been one of the top ranked sites. Like that site is super, super powerful in SEO. And one of the big reasons is its internal linking structure. It has so much stuff that is interlinked inside of it that it becomes a trusted source. So with with this link program, it basically does that for you inside your website. So if you had, let's say you had 50 pages in your website and they're all different content pages, it's looking through each page and it's identifying where do you have a single word in this page that could link to another page that's relevant to that word. That's interlinking. And it's almost like a reference to, if you're reading this content and you see something you're interested in, well, here's more detail about it over here. If you want more, click this link and there's a whole page just about that word. And that's interlinking. It's very similar to external linking. External linking is the same thing. When you want to link somebody to somewhere else for more detailed information, you generally use the word that describes what's on the other side. That's called an anchor text in the link. So the external carries weight, the internal also carries weight. And nobody does this. Like I used to do this. I used to have a full-blown SEO team, and this is the stuff they would do. It's all the stuff, that I would never spend my time on, but you need to do it. So with this plugin, it's really cool. And like I said, if you have a WordPress site, it does it like in a flash. I actually bought one of the licenses from Chris and I put it on several sites and it was super easy. I mean, literally, you just plug it in, let it do the scan, and then you can do it either automated, which it'll just add the links for you and you're done, or you can do it manual if if you're real picky and you want to see the links and you want to verify them and authorize them and all that stuff. You can do that too if you want to do it manually. I like automated stuff, so I didn't even play with the manual. I just turned on auto and hit go and watched it do its magic. So that was pretty cool. But I tell you, to have something like that, that is a lot of value to have that work done. You could go to Fiverr and you could hire somebody and, give them access to your WordPress site and hope and pray they don't screw something up. Or you could get in there and do it yourself and spend a bunch of time that you could be doing other things. Or you can get his plugin and click automate and watch the magic. So, Daryl, go ahead.
Yes, thanks. Thank you, John. I've got a plumber coming, so I'm gonna have to leave here in a few minutes.
Okay.
That pricing for that linking program, I believe it expired a couple days ago. Do you have a
Yes.
new pricing on it?
I believe the pricing is the same. He just removed the discount codes on the upper end. He had a
Oh,
discount code
oh,
for
he
the
did?
two higher level packages. I think the discount code is what expired.
Okay. Are you gonna send it out to everybody so we can take a look at it?
You guys all should have got those emails from me.
I got
It's
them on the discount. With the link in there still work?
yeah. Oh yeah,
Oh,
the
okay. All
links
right.
to his stuff should still work. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, if it doesn't, just let me know and I'll get a new link
Okay.
from him. But
Thanks.
usually the way internet marketers work is they say the price ends, and if you go back the next day, it's usually still there. We're all very famous for that. In fact, if you go look at my Black Friday pages, they're all still available. I don't think I've killed a Black Friday page ever. And I've talked about this as a buying trigger several times in the past, but since we're here, I'll just bring it up again. There's something about people that triggers them if they can see a loophole where they think they can take advantage of you. Like they're like, "Oh, he forgot. I'm going to slip in under the radar." And that is a buying trigger, believe it or not. So I leave those little Easter eggs all over the place. I'll drop those behind me and just walk away, and they keep paying out for years. Like I've had emails come through where somebody bought something I didn't even remember I was selling it. It's like, wow, that's cool. Or affiliate links that just like this one for Interlinker with Chris. I've had affiliate links come through with sales like years in the future. And it's like, oh, that's cool. So, there's no harm in leaving that stuff out. Whenever you create a marketing campaign, as it runs into the future, it's like mailbox money. You're real focused on it while you're doing your promo and you're pushing things and you're launching and what have you. But there's no reason to kill that stuff. That stuff will work forever. They have this little thing called evergreen. Like when I do a webinar, that webinar goes into a replay. That replay is more effective than the live webinar. I've never in my life sold more on a live webinar than I've sold on a replay, ever. And it's not even close. Like, for instance, when we did the Site Pop webinar, I think we sold about $2,800 on the live webinar, which I thought was a disaster because the promoter was thinking that we were going to do like 10 to 12,000, I think. And I felt really bad. I contacted the promoter and I'm like, oh, dude, I don't know what happened. I'm really sorry. And he's like, oh, no, no. He goes, no worries. He goes, you did great. He goes, most of the sales are going to come Friday, right before the end timer date. And we did the Friday, we did a Sunday, and then a final on Monday. And we closed Monday morning with $52,000 in sales. And we only did like 2,800 on the live webinar. So, and this is all if you promote it properly. We talk about marketing. That's our core here. That's what ACT program is all about. That's what, the Internet Dominators is predominantly about, is dominating your marketing. And every campaign should have a master strategy. Like, for instance, I'll just give you the brushstrokes outline of that webinar. It was a bunch of emails went out to get people to sign up for the webinar. Once they signed up, there was 3 emails that went out to make sure they came to the webinar, to remind them. Then the live webinar went. We recorded it. We immediately put the replay page up, and then the email sequence followed. All the people that had signed up, we said, here's the replay. I know a lot of you weren't able to make it, so here's the replay. And you should watch it soon because it ends Friday night. We did the live webinar on Wednesday. The big bonus is ending Friday night. So there was 3 emails that went out reminding them when the bonus was ending. And then Friday at midnight, big offer gone. Secondary offer put in place, still better than the retail. And that went out. Sorry, you missed the big bonus, but we're running the secondary bonus up to Sunday night. Those 3 emails went out, reminding them before Sunday night. Then Sunday night at midnight, that offer gone. The next one was a downsell. We're figuring at this point, anybody that hasn't purchased, it's because of the price. So we offered a lower version of the offer at a lesser price for anybody, and we picked those up on Monday morning. So that's how that campaign spooled out. That's a lot of effort, but that thing is still selling today. And that campaign, that was probably 7 years ago. It's evergreen. It's still making sales. People are still coming to my website, still opting in to see that replay. So that's what you want to do. You want to engineer your business not just for one-off stuff. Recurring revenue is what is going to make you independently wealthy. It's the thing that's going to get you your freedom. Making sales and then making sales and making sales and never having any follow-up income, that is a burden. That's like a prison sentence. That's like a job. They're all very synonymous. So you got to figure out, how are you going to work smarter, not harder? And working smarter is, getting a lead, creating a relationship, making a sale, and then making a relationship that lasts forever, that brings money forever with that customer. Richard, go ahead. Gotta unmute.
There we go. You should be able to hear me now.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, Two quick things. I've built out and edited and everything else, the whole funnel for the Optimancer. And I'm now at the last stage of trying to connect everything and plug everything in so that the sequence all works and I can test it. I am not hyper confident that I can be able to do that on my own. Where can I, will Kartra says they have some phone calls on some days. Will they actually come on the call and say, and I say, here are all the assets. They're all built. I'm just trying to get them to connect. Will they help me do that? Or do I need to, if I'm running into a wall that I can't clear in
I
Kartra, what's going to be the best way to get some
I,
help on.
I'm honestly not real sure what they'll do. I've seen those calls that they put out, their support calls and stuff. I've never really been on any of them, so I don't know if they'll like get into your account and actually be hands-on with you or just answer questions. But I'm going to, in fact, I've been meaning to do this for some time. I need to schedule training, both for Optimancer and Interlinker. I promised everybody that bought Interlinker I would do a live training on that, um, which I don't really know that's even necessary. It's so simple to use, but I'm going to do it anyway since I said I would. That'll probably be a 10-minute training, honestly. But there is a training that's probably required for exactly what you're talking about for Kartra. And I've got the template, so I can easily walk through that. And if you want me to use yours as a demo, I can do that for you.
That would be wonderful, but I want to launch on Monday, so I don't know if that's within your current
It's
time frame.
probably not within my current time frame. But
Okay, a strategy question. I've seen one other person do this one time, but I have not seen a lot of people do that. Um, Caveat, as you know, I'm going after your $1 to $10 million manufacturers. So,
hmm,
um, and I'm almost concerned that this thing is still too cheap, uh, but the price tag for most people, would have you clearing your throat. And the presentation that I give is a pretty straightforward VSL on the landing page. And I walk through all the formatting and everything else that I'm doing in the offers. And I say, then if you go on a page, choose based on my conversation here with you, pick the one that works for you best and go to the page, and I will collect your payment information, but I will not charge your card. Because quite frankly, I'm only going to have 5 people on this founder's launch, and neither you nor I want to get stuck with somebody that we can't get along with for a long-term relationship.
yeah.
So I want to have a call so we can talk together and we can both decide whether or not we're a good fit. And I'm going to guarantee if you come on as a client, I'm going to give you a 5x ROI on the money that you spend with me. And I need to know how you're doing things, what you're running right now. And unless I think I can actually get you that 5x ROI, I won't take you on as a client either. So we need to have a bit of a discussion. And if we decide to go ahead, great, give me permission. I'll run your card. If not, I'll delete all your information. We'll part friends. Is
So
that kind of a have you seen that strategy work? Is that a
it,
bright idea that doesn't fly? What's the
no,
feedback on
no,
it?
it's a fantastic strategy. Your implementation is slightly off, but it is a fantastic strategy. And I've actually done it. That's what I did at Glacier Kennedy. Um, what you want to do, since Kartra doesn't allow you to collect the credit card data and then process later, they don't have that ability. You, at minimum, charge them $1 for the consult. And that I don't think is a really good idea, honestly, because two things. You're going to get a bunch of tire kickers because you have a low barrier to entry. And that's, I don't even need to go beyond that. That's going to be your biggest problem.
I was thinking about saying, that's the charge, and it's a $97 appointment charge that'll be credited to your account. I'll keep it if you don't show up.
So
And if you decide not to go, I'll refund it. Is that would be a way
a,
to do it?
a better way to do it is if you're going to charge, uh, let's say you're going to charge $2,000. I'll use the exact model that I used at Glacier Kennedy. If you're going to charge $2,000, I was charging 2,000 a month. So with the package I was selling at Glacier Kennedy was $2,000 a month. So what I did was I said, I'm very picky about who I'll take on, and I don't take on competing customers. So here's the way we're going to do it. If you want to be in on this, go ahead and place your order. The $2,000 is basically a deposit. what it's going to get you is we're going to do a 1 hour consult. And together, we're going to decide if we're a good fit. And if I take somebody, like, let's say I take somebody in Huntington Beach that's a chiropractor, and there's another one of you that is Huntington Beach chiropractor, and I take the first one, then I'm just going to give you your money back if you're second in line and you didn't make the cut. We won't have a conversation. You'll just get your money back. If we have the conversation and we decide that we're not going to move forward, I will give you your money back and you get a free consult out of the deal. If we decide to move forward, that's your payment for the first month and away we go. That's the way I did it. It worked really, really well. It actually created a stampede of people to sign up because I was removing all the risk. The worst thing that was going to happen was they were going to get an hour consult with me for free. That was the worst thing that was going to happen. There was
Okay, well,
literally
that's what,
no commitment.
yeah, I was, I thank you for that very much because I'm kind of juggling this thing here. And I may as well pull back the curtain, seeing so that's the purpose of the call here. Um, I start out placing that value and telling the $60,000 story, and then 9 months it took you to put the damn thing together.
Yeah.
And I'm justifying because everybody's talking about AI. So I'm going to, we'll do this process. The retail is going to be $6,000 setup fee and $3,000 a month.
Okay.
And given that price point, I'm kind of concerned that might even be a little too low. But on the founders thing, I'm discounting that by 50%. So it's a
Okay.
$3,000 setup, $1,500 a month. And if you want to do a one pay, it's $17,000, but I'm throwing in all the AI tools, all the AIO tools, this website leads, the AEO pop, the site pop. I mean, they're getting the whole basket, which is actually about a 60,000, which is almost I did the numbers. It was about a $58,000 package if everything priced at retail the way I put the pricing on it. But you can get everything for $17,000, and I think that, if I say it's normally $1,500 a month, I'll just charge the initial $1,500. We say yes, and I'll add the setup fee to it, and if not, you get a refund. Is that kind of a structure, or knowing that the actual numbers I'm working with, can
Yeah,
you fine tune that for me?
and it's really good to set high retail prices. It doesn't mean you have to charge them, but to set them and have them published, that's a really good thing. So that always works because then they'll look you up and they'll look on your website and they'll see those prices and they'll go, oh wow, yeah, this is real.
Well, I
So
was thinking that's you can everybody's saying, well, if $60,000, where's all this supposed to be big AI discount? You do things that are AI. Well, I'm getting 90% discount. It's not going to be 60. It's only going to be 6. That to me sounds like a pretty reasonable price talk, and it justifies why it's
sure,
that much lower.
sure, you could actually weave that into your story. Say, we've done this by hand and it's 60 grand.
Oh
The
yeah, it's in
reason
there.
Yeah, the reason that it's 6 is because AI has allowed us to do this. Now, we don't have to, and we're only doing this for a short time for the founding members. You could have that spin. That would be a good spin.
Yeah, that's exactly the framing I'm doing it. And
Hmm.
uh, does anybody have any testimonials whatsoever on Optomancer or whatever that they're willing to share with us that we can use for an initial outreach kind of a thing? I mean, the guy that you built the original $60,000 platform, has he given you a testimonial or anything that we can use in that regard?
I don't know. I'll have to check with Chris. I haven't really scoured for, all the people that we sold it to get those. I really suck at that. That's me, Richard.
Give me
I'm
the list, John.
shoveling
I'll do the outreach for you. I'll get the answers.
I'm shoveling stuff out so fast that kind of stuff takes a back seat. But I can tell you, I actually put a presentation together. The reason I had to move the call to today was yesterday I was speaking at the Western Pool and Spa Association. And guess what I pitched him? I pitched him the Optimancer. And I got to tell you, I've spoken at this conference for probably 10 years. And this was the most engaged the audience has ever been. I mean, they were literally on the edge of their seat on this one. And it got the best results, the least friction. It was like, holy shit, this is like a tiger by the tail. And these are all lower end, like local businesses. And I know that's not usually where I dabble, but if I know there's a ton of agencies that's who they serve. So
Do you have that presentation that you can
this was
give
a
us, or are they recorded or anything like that so we can see that so we have at least a
un,
model?
unfortunately it did not, there was no recording. It was a live event and they don't do the recordings at the pool show. But I can share my screen here and I can show you. Let me go into the slide mode. And by the way, AI built this PowerPoint, believe it or not. And it was amazing. It not only built the PowerPoint, but it gave me the 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 whole thing, the whole presentation. I was like, holy shit, because I had trained it on Optimancer. So we opened with that. We had a little bit of a discussion, about AI that I had talked to about in the past and all that. And now it became the visible versus invisible conversation. And then we went in and I basically put the whole thing of this presentation back on the AI that it created this. So if I came across a slide that didn't resonate or whatever, I would have a scapegoat out, but I never did. And I said, it wants to start off talking about the customer journey, the caveman to the modern day businessman. 100 years ago, you all got your customers through talking to people. It was belly to belly, word of mouth advertising. And this, by the way, is a technology. It's just an archaic technology. And then 30 years ago, a new technology came out. And I'm calling these technologies because they are, even though it's just a paper book. It was a technology that allowed business owners to advertise and get new customers. It became a better solution than the word of mouth because there's only so many mouths talking. And with this, you've got all eyeballs on this book. So it was a better technology. And then 20 years ago, this came along and wiped out the book. This was a 24/7 technology. And a lot of you have been getting this for the last 20 years. You've been getting a lot of your customers using this technology. Well, today there's a new technology, and this is how customers are coming. This is the evolution of your client acquisition. It went from belly to belly to the yellow pages to Google, now to AI. This is the future. And actually, it's the present. And then I go in here to some stats. 58% of consumers use chatbots to research local services. And again, I'm focusing this on local because these guys are all local services. 2.3 billion chat GPT queries per month. That's just chat GPT. This surpasses traditional search for service recommendations. So I'm kind of sticking a fork in Google here. And then 71% of homeowners trust AI recommendations as much as a personal reference. So this thing is as good as word of mouth, but it's 24/7. It's working round the clock for you. Now people ask ChatGPT, Gemini, and Perplexity, who's the best pool company? Here's the problem. Here's where I introduced the problem to them. Most websites were built for Google, not for AI. AI engines do not work like Google. This makes your entire business invisible to the fastest growing customer referral source in history. That's a big pain point to point out right there. And then I say, are you visible to AI? And I give them the link to go, and I tell them, I go, everybody in the room, I want you to take out your phone, I want you to type this in, and I got them all. I got the whole room to opt in to my Kartra by this right here. I wasn't trying to sell them anything. I've got them on the edge of their seats to know if their site's visible or not. And then I'm giving them a way to do that. So sent them here. And by the way, are you guys hearing me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I just
Yeah, we're here.
didn't know if I fell off in a black hole or not. I want to make sure. So I
We're
We're
hear
said,
you
so
loud
we're
and
so
clear.
we're so gobsmacked, John. We're speechless. This is I congratulate you on putting together a great presentation, but if AI did it, oh well. Good prompt.
well, it was my prompt. So anyway, I'm giving them an opportunity to test drive this thing right now and find out they have a big problem. And you should have seen it. I mean, the whole room was a buzz. They're showing each other their phones. It was awesome. And then I say, okay, let's talk about the tale of two pool companies. And I walk them through, being broken naked in the rain under a bridge. And then the other one of, the successful business that thrives and grows because they were using the right technology. And then I say, here is what you need to do. So I'm in the Frank Kern model. What I did was I put a big spotlight on the big ass problem, stuck a fork in them, showing them that they have the problem. And now I'm showing them how to get the problem to go away. Here's what you have to do. You have to, and I go into each one of these. And then here's the LLM. I go through that, SEO equivalent of a robots TXT file. And I know all this, I know this room, and I know they know a lot about SEO because I've taught them over the years SEO. So I'm giving them the contrast of how this is different from SEO, but the same. So I say this LLM file is the equivalent of the robots TXT file. Instructs the engines where to look, sets guidelines of what to ignore, establishes relevancy, and helps understand your content. It lists exact locations of relevant content. And then number two, the schema. And I talk about the schema being, for SEO, but this is a little different and go into what it does. And then the answer first content. AI is an answer engine, not a search engine. It looks for answers first in your content, and it loves content that answers questions. FAQs are AI candy. So if this thing's got a sweet tooth. And then I go into the benefits. If you do those last three things, here's what you're going to get. Consistent lead flow, recommends you 24/7, generating leads while you sleep. Lowers your marketing cost, free organic AI recommendations, replace expensive paid ads. Competitive advantage, be the first to market while competitors remain invisible. Future proof your business, position yourself for AI powered economy before it's too late. And I went into a little bit about positioning first here. And I said, as this evolves, there's going to be more and more things, just like SEO. When SEO started, there was only a few things you had to do, and you'd beat all the competitors because nobody was doing anything. And then as time went on, they got more and more sophisticated, and you had to do more and more to keep ahead of them. And ultimately, it got to the point where we were all doing everything that could be done. So we're all on a level playing field. But one guy has an advantage. And it's the guy that's been doing it the longest because that's one of the factors. So that's why you want to do it today, not after the others get that factor under their belt, because that's the only factor that you can lock in and keep forever. That was really powerful when I said that. And then I said, and here is what AI came up with to make your offer. Isn't she beautiful? And then, complete the SCI or complete the AI analysis, the site analysis to find out if you have this disease. And if you do, I have the cure for you. And then again, I was going to put this in case anybody hadn't done this at first, but they all did it. So we kind of breezed over this. And then I went into how Optimancer works. Auto generates the LLM file, automatically builds all of your schema, and creates FAQs for your website. It installs these three, always updated. You always have a visibility dashboard, and it's a one-click install if you have WordPress. And then again, I'm sticking the fork back and staying ahead of your competitors. Let's see. And then I went into the offer for them. So if they have a WordPress site, 197 to set up, 97 a month. This is going to be really good competitive pricing, I think, for small mom and pop operations. If you're going for the manufacturers like Richard, this pricing's out the window. You never want to show them this. There was several people that had Wix sites in the room, and they were really concerned of what they could do. So I gave them the non-WordPress offer for $4.97. We'll generate all the files, and it's up to you to paste them in or have your webmaster do that for you. So, and what this did for those of you like Jim and Tim that offer website development, what this did was every one of the people in the room that didn't have a WordPress site asked me if I could convert their site to WordPress. And so that opened up probably 6 or 7 web development projects right there, just by this positioning. And then their special offer is 70 off the monthly with that discount code. And then questions and the link to the actual offer. So that was what I presented. And I got to tell you, they were really engaged in that presentation. So that worked pretty well. And I know your next question, Richard. And yes, you can have the PowerPoint. I'll give it to you. In fact, I'll put it up under the white label tab in the members area for anybody that wants.
Yeah, that's really great, John. And I have to be because we're talking to CEOs and FEOs and founders of these big companies and stuff, it has to be just tuned a little bit more, I would think, to an executive mindset, an executive briefing format rather than the local business format. And I've structured my presentation as a CEO briefing, but I can see doing this presentation as just a YouTube video and put up a YouTube video on my channel and just go for it with my market and my pricing and stuff, but tuned a little bit more to that executive briefing. That's spectacular, people. That's wonderful.
Absolutely. So it's very versatile to be able to do that. Let me mute that one out there. So it's very versatile to be able to do that, but it was a very engaging presentation to the audience. They really liked it. They were hearing things they didn't know, they'd never heard of, giving them an advantage and all of that. So anybody that is running an agency and going to be selling this as a service, I guarantee you, this is probably going to be a no-brainer, easiest sale you've ever made.
What's presentation side software did you use for that particular presentation? I've used a couple other ones, and they make the pictures so big that the copy doesn't actually show. If someone was trying to watch it on their phone, they couldn't read the copy. Yours, you can read the copy. So I was wondering which platform did you use?
It's a PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, well, but which PowerPoint presentation software did you use? You said it was AI generated.
Oh yeah, it was a prompt that I prompted AI to generate that in PowerPoint format.
Okay, third time. Which one?
That was the one that my guys are building for me. The synthetic.
Oh, okay. Now you're really gonna wave the red flag at us, aren't you?
We're
Okay, so when
we're
is that one gonna be around?
we're at least a month away from me being able to release that. I had a meeting with the programmers last week and I have access to it, but and it keeps it does so much stuff. It's gonna knock your socks off when you see it. But it's more something that you would get for yourself, you know. It's not well, I guess you could. You could I'm going to train it basically to do entire marketing funnels because that's
Well,
one
right
of the
now
things.
I'm using Abacus because it's the only platform that will where you can actually create a memory file. So I've got a thread that I've been running now for almost 2 months. And every
Yeah,
time I get a little kernel, I said, okay, this goes into memory because this is a structural thing that will always be.
yeah.
And so it's the
So
only one out
this
there that has long-term memory that the public has access right now. So
just I'll just give you kind of some framework and context around what this is that I'm talking about. It's more of an agentic AI than a like what you're used to is a one-dimensional AI. You go in, you ask it a question, you give it a prompt, and it does work on a single dimensional level for you. What I'm talking about is I'm talking about an agentic AI where when you give it your prompt, you're giving it to the chief of staff. And he's got 1,000 agents below him that are all trained on all kinds of specialties. And he goes and divvies that up and hands out the tasks. And all these little AIs are working together to develop the stuff, bringing it back. There's other ones that are reviewing it, critiquing it, sending it back to the drawing board. And when you give it the task to take off, it works for hours and you can watch it. You can watch all the agents talking to each other. It's insane. And then ultimately it comes back and it says, well, we're made a lot of files for you. We're assuming you want this in some kind of a logical order. So we've put them all in folders and zipped it up for you to make it easy on you. And I'm just like, holy shit, you gotta be fucking kidding me. And as soon as I started playing around with it, I was all over my programmers. I'm like, oh, okay, when can I release this? And they're like, no, it's for you only right now. We're working on it. So I hit them again yesterday, and they're telling me we're about a month. We're about a month out. It's going to be phenomenal. But what I wanted to do with it, the whole thing that I wanted that I gave them instruction to build for me was I want something that I can train on the ACT program on how to build marketing funnels so I can actually offer that as a service without much intervention on my part. I could take someone's specifics, drop it in, and let it build an entire marketing funnel and just hand it to them and say, here's all the pieces, here's all the instructions, and go to town and be able to afford or give them an affordable marketing campaign end to end, hand off, and I'm out. Because that's been everybody's problem. Everybody's problem is it's too intimidating. There's too many pieces. They're overwhelmed and they don't want to spend $10,000 to have it done professionally, at minimum. And that's been a big barrier to entry. So if I can solve that one, then I'll feel my job may be close to being done. All right, Kevin, go ahead.
Hey, John, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. When you were going over your presentation just a minute ago, you said the pricing, don't use that pricing, I
If
take
you
it,
if you're
for larger
selling
companies.
Yeah, if you're selling to bigger manufacturers and larger companies, that's not the right pricing.
It should be higher.
Yes, that
Yeah,
pricing is for small local,
gotcha,
pool guys. If you're selling
gotcha.
to plumbers and electricians and all that, then it works perfectly.
Okay. And then my other question is, um, in I forget what slide it was, but you've got a you've got a knack for showing beautiful women. How do you create I mean, I've been working on images. I did the deposit photos like I told you I
Uh-huh.
did. Um, is there a prompt? How do you create them that stunning?
I would have to look back at my prompts. It's kind of just been playing around with them. A lot of the images you've seen that came from the Act Imager.
Really? Oh, okay.
The
All
Act
right.
Imager is really good at kicking those images out.
Okay.
And Mhm. some of the things, some of the words that I'll use is like luxurious, believe it or
Okay.
not. And usually you're not referring to a woman as luxurious, but that somehow triggers a really
Okay.
good looking woman. Um, I have no idea how I figured that out.
Well, whatever you did, it shows. All right. I mean, if you happen to come across the prompt and can share it, otherwise, I mean, can you think of any other keywords besides luxurious?
A lot of times you have to tell it the ethnicity.
All right.
Otherwise, who knows what you're going to get.
Yeah.
Um, but if you want, a Hispanic looking woman or you want an Asian looking woman, you just tell it,
Yeah.
what you're looking for. If you want Caucasian, you
Yeah.
can say tan skinned.
Yeah.
One of the ones that I've gotten good results with Becky when I was first developing Becky was I
Yeah.
said, give me a brunette with blonde highlights. And as
That's
soon
good.
as I did that, that kicked up the game.
Sure. What
Because
about the
it
eyes?
didn't
Because,
just change her hair, it changed the whole output of the woman itself.
okay.
I don't know why, but it did.
One Kevin, one of the things that John was talking about when he's doing the early Beckys and stuff was they was having a real tough time with image consistency. And now if you're using like Nano Banana or something, once you get the right one that you want, you say, okay, now use this one and you can do anything and everything. And it will keep that same woman doing whatever it is, changing outfits, changing scenes and all that sort of stuff. And John had an almost impossible time doing that almost a year ago when he was doing Becky. But
Yeah.
they've cracked that now in Nano Banana and some of the other really high-end image generators. They've got real good image consistency now, which they didn't used to have.
Yeah.
Come a long
I was
way.
on Nano Banana and the, they're getting there. But it's on me. I gotta fine tune the prompt.
Another thing you want to do is eye contact. You want to say good eye
Oh
contact.
yeah, yeah,
Um, Otherwise, you'll get it's a much different image if the eyes are looking other than right at the axis of the camera.
yeah. That's good. Yeah, I
Yeah.
did notice, especially in your presentation, the eyes were.
Yeah, there ain't no way getting away from her.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, John.
All right, no problem. All right, go ahead, Lewis.
John, this is so exciting. I'm salivating here. It's
I bet.
my God. I mean, I know we're closer to, you know, a lot closer to the Matrix and probably Terminator, and at some point we'll end up having to battle them or something. But for now, it's exciting. Oh my God. Uh, but anyways, I had a question for you because uh, I was able to connect with a local company that does I don't know how that happened, but they combined accounting and social media management, website development, blah blah blah. And I'm looking at possibly doing white labeling with them with the Optimancer.
Okay,
Of course, that's going to be my secret sauce.
sure.
But just last week, the owner of that company uh, did a presentation for the local chamber of commerce, and he does a lot of stuff with BNI, things like that. So I'm thinking I'm going to get a lot of referrals from that and a lot of business from it. Is there a way? Like I know that you're busy, so I don't expect that immediately. But how long do you think it would take for you to share that presentation so I can take it with me on Monday? Because Monday I have a meeting with them in their office.
The one that I just showed you guys?
Yes, yes.
Oh, I'll load it up today. It'll be in the
Oh,
vendors area.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, that's wonderful news.
Yeah. And
That's all I had.
it's PowerPoint, so it's editable, so you can, swap out any slides you want, swap out,
Love it.
any text.
Oh,
Not a
great,
problem.
great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah, no problem. And everything, I made sure all the text and everything is absolutely editable.
That's going to be the Optimaster white label area.
Hmm. Yep. Yeah,
Awesome.
as soon as we get done here, I'll load it up in there for you guys. And I have, by the way, I've got a bunch of other stuff uh, that I've been working on that I can give you guys too, because I've been really flushing out the marketing campaign using AI, getting scripts. This is kind of what's part of the inspiration behind this is the new tool that the guys are building for me. And I'm playing with it, having it build all these pieces, and it is just amazing. I mean, it builds stuff that if I had nothing better to do in my life, I would do all of this stuff. But I've never been in a situation where I didn't have things I wanted to do outside of banging my head against the wall. So this is a first, and it's really incredible the volume of work that it's churning out. It really is. It's absolutely incredible. Like email sequences. It's it's got like, 6 or 7 email sequences. It's got the follow-up sequence, it's got the cart abandon sequence, got the fulfillment sequence, and it's got instructions with everything. It gives you like the full game plan of, here's the business model, here's the target market, here's the marketing plan after you get all this stuff in place, here's all your funnel pieces, here's the instruction of how to connect them all together. I mean, it's amazing. It's really it's an intense amount of work, but it's just dropped at your fingertips in a zip folder. It's like, here's all the stuff. And it's just like if you went to an ad agency and paid them tens of thousands of dollars to build these things out for you, and then they hand them off. It's just like that. So for years, I've always wanted to be able to deliver on that level, and I just have never been there. I've never gotten to it. The closest I got recently was with Chris Rimple. I have a lot of Chris's in my life here. Chris Rimple built the marketing campaign out for ACT, and I hired him to do it just to make sure that he was going to do it right. And he followed the ACT protocol like to the T. Everything. He did the market research. He did everything that I would do if I were going to do it. But, you're talking about a $10,000 price tag. Him and his guys did that. It took them like 6 weeks to do all the work. But they did all the work. They handed it off to me in a zip folder, just like my AI did, but it didn't take 6 weeks. It took about 6 hours. And it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And as I thought Chris's stuff was like really, really top notch, but when I stack it up against what the AI did, the AI just smoked it. just absolutely smoked it. Even with the competitor research and analysis and telling me stuff about the market. He had a couple of guys doing that research, and they were digging deep and collecting data. But the level that this thing did, it was just like, wow. So it's astonishing. It's like, and Perry said this at his very first AI bot conference a couple of years ago. He said, "What would you do if you had 10,000 employees at your disposal and they would do anything you wanted? What would you do?" And my first thought was, well, I would tell one of them to manage the rest of them and do everything I need without me knowing it. That was my answer to what would you do with 10,000 employees. And now I have that exact scenario. When he threw it out, it was kind of pie in the sky. It was like, yeah, well, that's the future. That's where we might get if we don't all blow ourselves up in the process. But now it's like, here, I've got that. I literally have that sitting in my lap. And now it's just a matter of, okay, how soon can we allow other people to get a hold of this? So it's pretty exciting stuff. Lewis was salivating. I mean, wait till you see this thing come through. He's going to go from salivating to soiling himself. Anyway, enough of that. Diane, go ahead.
I'm gonna try. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Haha, I've got two computers going so I can have audio.
I was wondering
Um,
about that. I see your hand raised over there, and then you're talking over here.
yeah,
That's okay.
yeah, that's how I'm rolling today. Um, my
No
my
problem.
main computer, for some reason, I can't talk on Zoom. So here we are. I love the idea of the interlinking program.
Okay.
I did not pick it up because I've promised myself I'm not buying any more software till I sell something. I
Gotcha. Well,
it just I've been collecting and I'm like, okay, make a move, girl. But
and by the way, I recommend that. I highly recommend that. You buy what you need when you need it. You don't just
yeah,
buy
because I
stuff.
figure I can still work on selling it. Start with
Mhm.
Optimancer and add that on as an add-on, and on
Yeah.
in one sale potentially go ahead and then buy,
Yep.
what I need for that. So that leads me to, I know they took the page down, but he replaced it with kind of a message that, if you missed out, da 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 da. I'm gonna assume that somehow there's a backdoor way to still buy that when the time is ready for me.
There absolutely is. I wasn't aware that he actually took the page down or put another message in there. But what I had talked to him about originally before I even offered to promote it for him, I knew that was going to be of value. And I asked him if it would be okay if I put that on my thank you page for people when they purchase Optimancer,
Smart.
to have that as an additional bonus offer on the thank you page. And he was all over that. And he's going to do the same thing for me. So when people buy Interlinker from him,
Oh
he's
shoot.
going to have
Sorry.
he's going to have a link on the back of his thank you page promoting the Optimancer. So we're going to do that as a cross promo. And this is exactly what I've been talking to you guys about, is finding partners that are in this, they share the same customers, but they don't compete. Like, he doesn't compete with me, he enhances me. I don't compete with him, I enhance him. And together we make more money. If I'm just selling mine and he's just selling his, we're not expanding our audience pool and we're not making more sales to the same people. So it's a way to really spin up a flywheel in a business, is connecting to these other hubs. It's like, instead of you having a unicycle, you're rolling down the highway with an 18 wheeler. you know?
Yeah, it's really good from that perspective. Like you said, that you've got that synergy going, but from our
Yeah.
perspective to sell it, it's a 1-2 punch.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
we don't
It
get
gives
other
you,
customers from it as far as tapping into someone else's customer base, but we might close more or at least have a higher revenue because it's
Yeah.
two products
Yeah. Do you
or doing
also
two different things, two very
do you
different things.
do you also do web development in your business?
I don't, and using the term "my business" is really generous, John.
You all have businesses. You just
I
don't
I
know it
have
yet.
one. I have it set up and it's I'm actually doing a better job of building out, but I need to work on my outreach. I don't
Yeah.
have a system.
Well,
So,
that's one thing. We do have an entire reseller platform on web development. So like two of the people on here, Jim, I don't know how many websites he's sold and used my company to be the fulfillment for, but it's probably somewhere around 50 so far. And so I have a full team that you can outsource that to.
well, that's really good to know. Is that part of what when you gave us that? I'm sorry, I've got two barking dogs because there's apparently an Amazon truck and they hate Amazon trucks. But like when you gave us all the links to sign up for to be affiliates for your program, was that part of that, or should I just reach out to you?
Well, that's an affiliate. If you want to offer that just as an affiliate and just make the affiliate money, yes, you can do that. But I'm talking about like you come off as the web developer. You
Gotcha.
say, my team develops websites. What can I do for you? And then basically you take in the job, you take in the money, and then you basically hand that over to my team. They do the back end fulfillment for you. And then we just, we charge you for that. You charge your customer and they'd never know about us.
Awesome. Okay. Is that something
So,
where you have your pricing somewhere that so I know that to build in for my pricing so I don't
yeah,
mess that up and
shoot,
undercharge a client and then end up paying you guys?
sure. Yeah, just shoot me an email and I'll make sure that you're tagged in our resellers and
Okay.
I'm gonna start being a lot more active with the resellers too. I've kind of let that fall by the wayside over the last couple of years. So,
Yeah, I have absolutely no interest in building websites. That's
oh,
just
and
not
yeah,
where my interests lie at all.
nor should you. It's a mind-numbing task. It's kind of like, doing SEO. It's great to have a working knowledge of it and understand the ins and outs, but it's not something you want as a career. You want to hire people for that. You want to be the business owner, not the operator.
100%. And just real quick, one more thing. It's more of a comment on something you said for those who bought the linking program. You were talking about doing a training and you're like, it's only going to
Yes.
take a couple minutes to show you how to use the software. From
Uh-huh.
a personal point of view, one, I'd love to be on that, even though I haven't bought yet. But two, would love to have the training be more about how to sell it. And
Okay.
I know we can use AI to figure that out and do that, but just from your kind of perspective and
Okay.
that.
Yeah, that's a super easy upsell.
Nice.
If you have a client for anything, like you have a client for web development, you have a client for Optimancer, SEO, anything really, you can just present that to them as, hey, we have a new additional add-on service that's very effective and it gives you the power of internal linking in your website. And you just correlate it to Wikipedia. You say, this is what makes Wikipedia so powerful. And it's amazing. It's right out in the public eye. Everyone can see it, but nobody does it. And we can do that for you. So it's a real easy positioning on how to sell that.
I like that. Thank you.
Yeah,
John, while you're
absolutely.
talking about your website building, uh, I guess because I've had you build a website or two for me for clients and stuff, and it was basically like $500 for the website, but that was only up to what, 5 or 6 or 10 pages? Is it based on the number of pages? Do we need to give you a page count, or what information do you need to get from
Yeah.
us for to be able to give us a better price before we commit?
Yeah, it is based on the size of the site, obviously, and if the site has, commerce, if they want a shopping cart and all that. So that's something I probably should just build out a structure so it's printed and you can all see it.
And if you could put that, that'd be really, really helpful because when you're on the phone with somebody, that's not the
Sure.
time to say, well, let me put together a quote for you, whatever. You need to know what those numbers are off the
Yeah.
top of your head to sound professional.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. That's that's pretty easy. All right. Diane. Oh, we just handled you, right? Okay. Let's go on to Ed.
Hey, John.
Hi.
Listen, I'm currently working through the ACT protocol.
Okay.
So, what I've teamed up with a developer, and what we're offering is AI voice agents, kind of like acting as receptionists for companies.
Sure. Yeah.
So, we decided just target the big fish first, right? So we decided to go after lawyers, right? So like personal injury lawyers. Thing I'm currently working through all the prompts and stuff and the quantum software at the moment. So I was just wondering about does it go into details about traffic? How do you actually get in front of people to sell this to? You know what I mean?
I don't think I have any AI tools in there for that. We have that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a conversation we've had, ongoing for forever. And
Yeah,
traffic is part of the ACT program. Obviously, it's the T
uh-huh.
in ACT. But
Yeah,
what it does, it rounds you back to the A. The analysis usually comes into play when you're figuring out who your traffic sources are going to be, because you have to understand like who your ideal customer is
mm-hmm.
and where they are, where they're spending their time, and all that. Like for instance, if you're targeting, uh, the younger generation, a lot of them are not on Facebook. They're on TikTok. And this is just generally speaking, it's not 100%, but
Yeah,
it's pretty proven that that's true. If you're talking about, people in their middle age to later age, they're all going to be on Facebook. They're
yeah.
not
Because
going to.
I was wondering, I just haven't got to the Facebook the software yet, but I was just
Yeah.
wondering, like, would it be hard to target actually like lawyers, personal injury lawyers? Is it like would it be an expensive thing trying to do that on like Facebook, if you know what I mean? Or
Yeah, it might be difficult in Facebook to target them specifically. That might be more of a LinkedIn thing. LinkedIn is more of
Mhm.
a professional organization where people are
Yeah,
going there placing their resumes and, job offers and all that kind of stuff. LinkedIn has gotten very spammy over the years, though. So
yeah,
it's it,
yeah. I did
and
look into LinkedIn Premium and thought this may be the way to go, but I think you're limited to actually reach out, say like 100 reach outs per month or whatever they're calling it. Like
yeah,
not
yeah.
really, not really that high. Would you couldn't really go down
But where
viable
you
business
where
option
you
that way.
probably would get more traction in LinkedIn is actually using their ad platform, because you can actually display your ads to people based on location and job title.
Oh, I didn't even know they had one
Yeah, they have an
platform.
yeah, they have an actual ad platform inside
All
LinkedIn.
right, I
So
see.
that, and I think Lewis just popped one up that said he's finding that to be a gold mine. I've
Wow,
had
let's look
several
into that.
I've had several clients that used LinkedIn, the ad platform.
I
And this
see.
is
Yeah,
where in any social media thing, I've actually seen uh, very little things that worked in the social portion of it. The ones that are actually getting social platforms to work are the ones that are tapping into their ad placement programs. So getting it in front of the right eyeballs. Um, so that's going to be something that you look at, and your analysis should really help you get an understanding of that. Like Reddit is a big platform, but most people that are middle-aged to elderly, that's not their thing. They're not on there. But if you're targeting a younger audience, yeah, they're all over that platform for some reason. They love it. Like when I talk to my nephews, they live in there.
Hmm. Hmm.
So to me, I've looked at it. It's like it has no interest to me whatsoever. It's just a bunch of people sharing their opinions, and I'm like, uh, that's just not my cup of tea. So, but yeah, traffic. There's a ton of other stuff too in the T portion of the ACT program. I go through a lot of the different traffic channels that are out there that we don't normally talk about, but there's a ton of them. And the other thing I wanted to mention too, I have not had a chance to use this yet, but I've heard some really good things about it. In Facebook, there's uh, a new piece to their ad. I don't know what you want to call it, their algorithm maybe called Andromeda, and it's making it a lot easier to run Facebook ads. Like before, you had to really know your shit to get a Facebook ad to even run, let alone convert.
Yeah.
And now, my understanding of Andromeda is it takes the guesswork out of it for you. Like you can run an ad in there using Andromeda and it will do the audience targeting for you. It will go out and it will look for people that are in market looking for stuff, and it knows who to place your ad in front of, not just, a target audience that you think might be interested, but people that are actually showing buying signals for that type of product, and they're actively looking at those type of products and shopping.
Pretty loser. Yeah, that must be inside the Meta suite then, is it?
Yes,
The business.
that's in Meta, and that covers Instagram and Facebook.
That
So
sounds good.
that's a big, evolution of their ad platform
Mhm.
is this Andromeda. And like I
Hmm.
said, I haven't had a chance to try it out and use it, but I think I did because recently my Facebook campaign or my whole ad platform has been shut down for years because I hired an agency a long time ago and they did something that I don't even know what they did, but they got my account banned. And I could never figure out how to get back in and get it cleared. And it was like, all right, whatever. It's not that big a deal to
Yeah.
me. And the other day, and over the years, when I post something on my personal page, it pops up with, do you want to boost the post? And, there's no
Hmm.
reason for me to boost personal posts, but I posted something in there that was, I was testing something out. I think it was my AI bots. And it popped up. It said, would you like to boost this post? I'm like, oh, sure, let's try that. I clicked it. My account was shut down. And so I've had that experience over the last several years of, every time it pops up, would you like to boost this post? I click it and I get denied.
Got down. Yeah, they're pretty militant on Facebook. I once had a fitness site on, created a page, and for some unknown reason, they banned the page and banned everything, then banned the website, so I could no longer link out
Yeah.
the website. And it was a fitness website. There was nothing on it, nothing controversial. And I'm like, screw you guys, like, but
Yeah.
that's the way it is.
Well, recently, since Andromeda has been put in place, I think Andromeda opened up a lot of those old banned accounts.
Wow.
Because just recently I did the same thing. I was doing something to promote ACT and I put it in there and the boost post thing popped up and I clicked it and it said, all right. I'm like, oh shit, what kind of
Back in.
ultra universe did I just step into? And it didn't ask me anything about audience. It basically just said, what's your budget? And I said, well, let's use, I think I used 750 or $10, something like that. It was $10 or less. And I threw that at it. And the amazing thing was it knew my current credit card number. I didn't have to put it in.
Wow.
I'm
Nice.
like, how in the hell does it know my current credit card number? Because I've only had that card for about 6 months. And that account's been like years in the past it was closed down. So I was like, that kind of blew my mind. But then the fact that it asked me nothing about who I wanted to target. And I gotta tell you, I actually got a sale from that $10 ad budget, which was an absolute first. I mean, I can't say I haven't gotten sales off Facebook before in the past, but not
Mhm.
for a $10 spend. Certainly not from 10 bucks.
Oh yeah,
So
definitely not.
that kind of makes me think, wow, I might be like leaving a lot of money on the table here by not doing this.
Let me jump back in. Just one quick question, John, about Optimance there.
Okay.
See if you were sticking that, you're talking to local businesses and we're just giving them the sales talk and all the rest. All things being equal, if everything's all right with their website, um, put Optimancer on it, should they see an increase in traffic, all things being relative in the universe, you know what I mean?
You would think so, but there's no way to really guarantee that.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing with Optimancer, Optimancer is different than SEO.
Mm-hmm.
With Optimancer, the only thing that you can guarantee is you're visible to the AI engines versus being
Good.
invisible. Like if you
Mm-hmm.
don't do Optimancer, the thing you can guarantee them is you're never going to get recommended by AI. That's the guarantee you can give, plain and simple. If you run Optimancer and you make them visible, there's no way for you to actually guarantee that Optiman or that the AI will ever actually recommend them. It's not like SEO where if you optimize somebody, you are going to increase their rank. There's no rank in AI. It either recommends you or it doesn't. Like if they're on page 500 in SEO and you optimize them and they go to page 200, you just increase their rank. You can put those kind of guarantees of I can increase your rank. But even by getting them to number 1, you can't guarantee they're going to get more traffic. So it's a little different. The guarantees that you have to contain yourself to with AI really is, are they visible or not? And then you can increase their odds. The FAQs is adding, you know, answer first content to their website. So that is increasing their odds. But there's really nothing I know of that you can make any kind of a guarantee of traffic or rank or anything like that. So you got to change the narrative when you're selling Optimancer or any kind of AI optimization. You have to change the narrative. And the thing that will make you stand out is if there are competitors that are making false claims, you get to call them out. I did this with SEO a lot. I called people out a lot in SEO because there was a lot of SEO guys that says, "Yeah, I can get you number 1 in 90 days." Well, that's complete bullshit because they can't. There's no way to guarantee that because you don't own the property. And, I called a lot of people out and I got a lot of SEO business because of that. Because as soon as I point out that the other guy's lying to them, who do they trust? Right? Every time. So that's a big advantage for you to be unique in the space. Say, look, I know this game and I can tell you the truth about it. And the others that are lying to you, they're just here to take your money. And you can pretty much stick a fork in everybody that's competing with you if you do that. If you take that stand, that is the stand you want to take. That's the one where you want to hold your ground solid, and you will be the credible one at the end of the day.
John, one of the guarantee that I don't know if I mentioned it before, but worth mentioning it at this point in the conversation because you're talking about it, which was why I was so curious about when the person first runs their visibility score or whatever, and they see all that stuff. If they're considering do it, well, you say, okay, let's run a complete, that fifth one you said, which was the visibility score that gives them, you're at 47% or 52%. And you say, okay, give me 90 days and I will get that above 80. I'll get that to 80% or above, or I'll continue working for free until I get you there, knowing that when we turn Optimancer on, that the next report will show it as being over 80%. So you make the promise that shows up. That's that was about the best guarantee I could come up with, and it was one that seemed like it was a fairly safely hedged bet. Am I got that in my head correctly, or am I still stepping on a landmine here?
There's even a better way to do it. And let me just show you what you'll have. Like when you run the report, the progress report, this was the one that I ran for Jim. And I'll just show you. This was for Peak Business. That's Jim's company. And basically, the first time you run it, there's zero progress, there's 177 pages, there's zero FAQs. This is what the report will look like. Not deployed on the LLM file and no schema. So that's your beginning benchmark report that it generates for you. And then you go into Optimancer, you do the work, and then you run this report, which is the progress report. 100% progress, 903 FAQs generated, same 177 pages analyzed. And then you've got deployed, LLM file deployed, FAQs 99%, schema 100%. This is what you can show them as proof. You don't have to go back and, let them run the cheesy report. This is a real report here. And that's what you tell them. That first report is just smoke and mirrors to grab their attention. After that, you say, I'm going to run a baseline report for you. It's going to show you right where you are. Then we're going to go to work. And when we're done, we're going to run a report. And we're going to show you what we've done. And this report, by the way, is 506 pages long. This is the after report. 506 pages showing them what you did. There's no way to dispute that. If you're charging a local guy a couple $100 to do this work and you give him a 500-page report, he's not going to question it. Even if you're charging him $3,000, $4,000, $6,000, whatever. They're going to see this volume of work and they're going to go, holy shit, I got my money's worth this time. And, this thing goes on. Here it shows the LLM file. And I showed this at the pool guys. I said, this is what an LLM file looks like. It's all the pages, it's all the structure, it's all of this. And I scrolled down through it and I said, now how would you like to write that on a Saturday afternoon? And they all got a kick out of that. They're like, oh no, you can do that yourself. And then the FAQs, it shows 176. I couldn't get it to optimize one of the pages for FAQ. And when I went back into Optimancer to rerun that page, because I didn't know why it didn't generate an FAQ for that one page, when I clicked generate FAQ for that one page, I actually saw there was an error code that popped up real quick. It was only there for a couple seconds and then disappeared. But the code said not enough content to generate FAQ. And then I went and looked at the page and it was a blank page. I'm like, okay, we can avoid that one. We don't need an FAQ for that page. But it shows like each page, how many FAQs it generated for that page. And then it shows each page, 5 FAQs. There they are. Here's this page, 5 FAQs. There they are. That's why this thing is 500 pages long. It shows all the FAQ for each page, and it shows all the schema for each page. So I won't scroll through 500 pages for you, but you get the picture. That is the best way to really prove what you're doing and give them reports. Now, if you're selling them the one-time thing where they're going to do their own work, there's other reports inside Optimancer. You would go to the advanced report. You generate the advanced report. That's the one that generates all the all the details, all the instruction, all the training. It actually teaches them what each thing is. And there's like 60 different things. And it's really heavy. That page is going to be, hundreds, if not thousands of pages long. And that's the one where you probably want to give them access to the control panel so they can go through and then check the stuff off and give them actual dashboard access to that. So, Daryl, go ahead.
Thank you, John. Got rid of the plumber, $1,200 later. Optimancer, I've ran the report on a
Did you
few
sell
different.
that guy optimization and get some of your money back?
Unfortunately, it was only an employee.
Ah.
See how they are. That way they can blame management when I wasn't happy with the price quote. On Optimancer, the FAQs, the ones that I've ran, the answers to the questions have been, I'm going to use the term extremely short. I'm saying 1 or 2 sentences.
Mm-hmm.
Is that enough information to actually move you up in the view of AI?
Well, it
I'm looking for
depends. It depends
pertaining to
on what.
quality compared to other people on other sites.
Yeah, it
Or
depends
is
on
this
the
just
on
an
the
indication that
context.
the websites aren't very good to begin with, or both?
I think it depends a lot upon the context. Like a lot of times, an AI is looking for who has the answer. If it sees the answer, then it'll dig deeper into your thing, and if the answer it gives might be more in depth. I don't think it's looking to grab your specific FAQ answer and just feed that up as its answer.
Mhm.
It's looking to see who's answering those questions, and then that tells them whose content they should be pulling from and who they
Right.
should be recommending.
Okay. I was thinking it looks at ours, and here's the question with a very short answer. Here's this other site with the same question, a much more detailed answer. I'm thinking it's probably more likely to go with the one with the more detailed answer.
See, I would think the opposite.
Would you really?
Yeah, it's concise.
Okay.
It's question answer. It's not question and dissertation.
Okay.
So that would be my thought on it. It's looking for credibility. Um, and like, think about this from a human perspective. If you went to a networking event and you asked a simple question of somebody that you were networking with and they gave you a simple answer, and then you asked that same question to the guy next to you and he went into telling you his college history, you go, oh my God, get the fuck away from me.
Good point. Thank you.
Yeah, there is beauty in conciseness in business. That's what everybody wants. And I would assume that the AI is going to appreciate that as much as we do. It doesn't want to hunt for the answer. It wants to know who's giving the answer. And then if it wants more context, it's going to dig the information out around it. All right. All right. Well, it looks like we've got to the end of our questions. Anything else you guys want me to cover or?
Great session today, John. Very, very, very helpful. Really key information. Thank you very
Yep,
much.
it's good stuff. I know we started off with a bomb, but had to put it out there. All right, guys. Well, have a great week. We'll be back Thursday next week. And like I said, the only reason I had to push this was I was testing the Optimancer funnel and it worked really, really well. So that was
But
probably worth
John,
it.
in closing, I have to say something on that. That's this. If you did not do yesterday's event, we would not have advanced as much as we did today. You
Yeah.
advanced us, I would say about 1,000%. It was like, oh, I am so much on this missing link. And thank you. Richard, I give you
Cool.
kudos for bringing it up.
Thanks,
Is
John.
that all ashore, sir?
All right, that's it for today.
Thank you, John.
All right, thanks, guys.